Hello, and welcome. Today's little historic best of 3 video will be on Jeskai Giants. Jeskai Giants is I guess you'll call it a tribal control deck that uses existing, both pre and post, Kaldheim giant synergies. What I would consider the pre is 2 cards, really. One being Realm Cloak Giant, which is the adventure is a 5-mana destroy all non-giant creatures, which is more or less a one-sided board wipe. And of course, I guess unless if you run into the mirror matchup, which I never have. And it's also just a big giant 7/7 vigilance dude. You need to be. And the other pre-existing giant that sort of has synergy here is Strix the Sunstorm. Just 3 and 2 blue for 4/5 legendary elemental giant with flash and fly. And it says, and really the important bit here is that spells you cast with CMC 5 or greater cost 1 less and can't be countered. Which in this case is, all of our, well, most of our giant spells. And as far as post-Kaldheim giant support, there are several things. One being, of course, Agar, the Freezing Flame. 1 a blue and a red for a 3/3 giant wizard that's legendary. And whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if you control a giant or wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. Now really, for us, this is more of the giant part of it. The giant part of this synergy is the most relevant. We also have Invasion of the Giants, which is a saga for red and blue. Let you scry 2, then draw a card, and then you can reveal one of our giants to bolt an opponent or a planeswalker, and then give ramps the next giant we cast by 2, which is nice, is it? We also have Glimpse the Cosmos, which is 1 and a blue for sorcery speed to look at the top 3 cards, put 1 in your hand, rest in the bottom in any order. And then whenever as long as we control a giant, we can actually cast Glimpse the Cosmos again for 1 blue rather than casting its normal cost, and then you exile it if you cast it this way. Both of these are really good card draw and card selection engines. We also have 2 Battle of Frost and Fires, which is another giant specific sweeper. It's a saga that's 3 blue and a red, where it deals 4 damage to each non-giant and each planeswalker, which is scry 3, and then we can, when we cast a spell with CMC 5 or greater, the big boys, or some spell that's 5 mana, we draw 2 and discard 1. Again, board control, card advantage, try to grind out value in a very control-y kind of way. As far as giants, we have the new Quakebringer we have 1 of. It doesn't really have any sort of evasion natural to it, but the opponent's not being able to gain life can be very relevant. And really the big juicy bits while we have a Quakebringer is its ability when on the beginning of each upkeep it'll deal 2 damage to an opponent, whether it be on the board or it be in the yard and you control another giant. It kind of helps add a clock to a game. We run 2 Squashes, which is pretty reliable, pretty easy to get down to the 2 mana deal 6 to a creature or walker. We run 4 Tectonic Giants as just a good 4 mana 3/4 beefy boy that when it attacks or gets targeted can either bolt our opponent or lets us get card draw and accrue value. We have a single Calamity Bearer because all of these weird little one-off sources, like our Bone Crusher Giants and our Battle of Frost and Fires, or even our Tectonic Giants here, being giant sources, sometimes we want those things to double up and allow us to go over and to close out a game. We do run 3 Absorbs and 3 Ionizes, a little bit of control matchup, or control magic, because it is a control deck. That, of course, lets us either pad out our own life total or damage our opponents, relative to each spell, of course. We run 4 Bone Crusher Giants, which is just An absolute rock solid card. Probably one of the best red cards printed in a couple years. We can either 2-mana stomp something or 2-mana shock something. And of course the damage being prevented is nice, but doesn't come up all that often. Or sometimes you just need to be a 3-mana 4/3 chonky boy that shocks an opponent when it gets targeted by something. We also have 4 Skyclave Apparitions, since it's very good removal, and we don't really mind even if our own little giant sweepers kill it, seeing how it's such a good removal spell, and many people have already noted up before, it's almost always better to give them just a big illusion-y dork rather than whatever you exiled. We also run 2 Shatter Skull Chargers. Can just be a good 3 mana, kind of get in there, do some damage, and get back to your hand. Or it can be like if you kick it, a relatively big body. And we run a... Oh, this is going to be a little weird. Anywho, sorry about the change in music. I thought this was going to be a little quicker. For our land base, we just run a good little... We are a majority red deck. And then a little bit of blue, and then a tiny little bit of white. So we make use of the triomes, and we don't mind running the Surtland Frostspire and the Gates of Istfell to give us a card advantage and another sweeper. Again, ways to kind of generate some extra... my god, that's really loud. Pardon. Ways to generate additional card value. And of course, we can always cycle the Triumph if we need to. A couple Fabled Passage for fixing. Sideboard, we have Grafdigger's Cages for like your Goblin matchups or your Coco matchups. Aether Gust against your mono red or mono green shenanigans that sometimes show up. Dobin Vetoes, say if we need to just counter really important things, whether it be Cocos or Teferis. 3 Archons of Emeria as a way to slow down really aggressive decks that want to just dump their whole hand by reducing it to 1 spell a turn. Also, the ability to kind of fudge up or slow down mana bases of non-basics is relatively important. We run 2 Rampaging Ferocidons, more anti-life gain hate for the occasional Soul Sisters deck that shows up in the format, as well as go wide decks, pinging them for every creature they bring into the deck or bring into play. We run 2 Volcanic Fallouts as another little anti-go wide deck, as well as it can kind of really mess up like your mono blue tempos and stuff. Being not counterable is usually the thing that actually makes this usable. And then we run 2 Settler Wreckages as a nice little surprise sweeper that people don't tend to remember. Although this can be really... I like this because it doesn't get rid of all of our tribal setups that we've already used. But if you really wanted to run whatever white sweeper you happen to have in your collection and you don't have a settle, you can run it in the sideboard, but understand that it will knock off some synergies that you already had. And we have a single Heliod's Intervention, which can either be Artifact or Enchantment Hate, or just a buttload of life gain against your really aggressive decks. And with our relatively long-winded intro out of the way, we shall go ahead and play our couple games of a best of 3. I do apologize for the... The longer than normal deck intro. Usually if they're aggressive decks, they're easier to knock out. It's a control deck. It takes a little more explanation. And I would also like to show that I can actually, play a variety of decks as opposed to just aggro decks. Now, our opponent. Why am I getting all of these Russian names? It's fine. It's weird. It's not like the best hand in the world, but it's got stuff to do in it. Go ahead and try him on 1. I was playing against this guy earlier today, I think. Anywho. We'll play an island next turn so we can set up to hold and absorb. I really think I was playing against this guy earlier. We'll actually go ahead and play Invasion of the Giants. one of the aforementioned new synergy cards, which we can actually make it or take advantage of. See what our hand holds. What was he running? We'll actually go ahead and keep this. Is that we at this point, if we can manage to stick the Agar, we can kind of really if we stick the Agar and protect it with our little bits of counter magic, I think we can sort of turn the corner. I really did play against this guy earlier. That's so weird. Why is it? I don't mind playing against Russian people, or I guess Russian names. That's so weird. And in a weird turn of events, this dude knows the deck I'm running, and I loosely remember his. His is not actually, if this is the same deck, and boy does it appear to be, it doesn't appear to have the same amount of focus. Which is fine. And now I have to fill dead time as we get roped. There we go. Okay. Again, play the white so we can, next turn, just start holding up counter magic. It's gonna kinda suck to not make use of the third chapter. But again, I think if we can manage to stick this Agar and protect it behind counter spells and even the occasional bit of stomp to clear through things, I believe we'll be in a pretty good spot. And I mean, maybe if he destroys it. I do loosely remember this guy's deck having some removal. So I think we'll just... Actually, I could play a mountain here. Hang on, let me think through this for a second. So if I play this mountain and tap that mountain in particular, I can actually just play the Bone Crusher and still hold up a counterspell. So I think that will be the key. And with this relative early lock on the board, again, we're going to turn on... We have the tribal synergy bit set up, so now we're going to turn on the control axis and just kind of hold. Why did he not activate or add counters to his... No fucking way. His blast zone. That was weird. Anywho, and again, this is what I'm talking about. Ooh, we even have a sweeper here. Okay, so it'll be a blue, and a white. So we need a black. So I think we get... I'm gonna go and get a plains just so we have that knocked out in case he does something weird and like... Well... Okay, I guess he just scoops it. I was hoping to give the first game a little more oomph to it. I don't remember his deck being terribly, like, focused on doing a thing. One second, we're just gonna check and make sure all of the, technical bits are, like, working and not exploding. Which is kind of important. So if you hear the little click-clack of me alt-tabbing, that's what that is. For a little bit of more behind-the-scenes footage as we wait for our opponent to sideboard. The new music I have in the background for just different ambiance than the game music. Okay, hi, smokers. You want to come lay with Dad? It is ungodly loud as opposed to the stuff we've been usually playing. As we try and, as I try and develop a backlog of nice things to play in the background. So that's what I'm all tabbing in and out for, is like trying to get this to like sound okay and not like hot garbaggio. Honestly, we can play Glimpse on turn 2. We have a couple Tectonic Giants. Like, we just keep it. I'm gonna make sure the in-game music is turned off. Otherwise, this is, yeah, gonna sound real dumb. I guess we don't need to play the Fabled Passage. I guess we can actually save it as like a fetch land, quote unquote. Okay, that's better. We run Steam Vents, I believe, as Steam Vents and Triumphs as our like real rare lands of choice. Seeing how the deck is really base, is it splashing white? Okay. Okay, in that case, we're actually gonna play the passage and get the other planes so we can potentially Skyclave whatever big honkin' dude he plays. Since he can only play a land, tap the goose, and play a 4-drop, and for the most part, I think it'll hit pretty much anything he can play if he plays something particularly scary. I don't think I would have called that scary. I mean, do I actually? Huh. Comes an XX elemental works as another enchantment you control, still win. That's so weird. I don't know what to do here, so I think we'll glimpse and try and see what our opponent's doing here. I apologize for the dead space. This dude's deck is throwing me for a loop. A Realm Cloak makes me feel much safer, as I almost click on the wrong thing. Because I have a sweet baby girl next to me, moving my mouse arm. Hey! Hi, Goober! Hello! Want to lie back down with Dad? Yeah! Okay, shock something in. Yeah! Well, that'll do it. I will. You're so cute. We will play the second red, and I think we'll just play a Tectonic Giant and like try and present a blocker. Next turn we can play an island and Realm Cloaked if he makes his board get a little too big. Does he untap the source in question? Okay. Do you bother to attack is the question. This is so loud for me. That's so fucking loud. Maybe I can... No, it's like... It's very low. I apologize if the music is so loud here. Let me turn this down. Recording side and not, like, source audio. Pardon. Okay, we're okay now. Beg your pardon for that very weird technical issue. Go ahead and turn down the volume on my headphones also. So maybe it's just my brain playing tricks on me. We'll go ahead and send the Giant into the Nissa, and I guess we can... We already have kind of everything we need, so I think we'll just start bolting our opponent here. Of course, it's giving him priority for the food. So he can tap a land, untap it, making a blocker. Another Nissa. Now you're gonna... That's a thing he can do. Gotta give him where credit's due. But we're gonna just ruin his life, right? I think that's the plan. Okay, so we're gonna Steam Vents untapped. We will squash the Nissa. And then we'll, I guess we'll foretell the Quakebringer to get it cheaper next turn. And we'll glimpse the Cosmos here. Oh god, what do we want? I think we'll do Invasion of the Giants next. We'll go ahead and leave this, our Tectonic Giant back as a blocker. Of course, we can foretell it for 4 mana. So maybe it'll be a Quakebringer. So yeah, we'll do the Quakebringer, and then we'll do an Invasion of the Giants, and we're going to try and scry our way into something real good here. This will also prevent him from cashing in the food for health. We've almost got the lock on this game, which is good. This video is going to be longer. Never mind. I'm concerned that these control videos will just take a longer amount of time. So I beg your pardon. I'll try and make this quick. But that kind of shows, you know, what the deck, a good tribal base upon which a control shell is fitted atop it. I believe this is probably one of the better giant decks that you can make in the format. You might be able to make some weird mono-red giant aggro thing. But I believe this is how giants, this is how I believe giants will likely be built if it is built in the format. Granted, as I do with most of these decks, I've spent, what, 3 days, 2 or 3 days of a couple hours each day working on the deck. Of course, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, that's what the comments are for. Ah, yes, we'll play first. I'm going to trust in the heart of the cards here. I'm going to keep this, even though really I shouldn't. Boy, I hope I'm not. Hey, a mono red maybe? Okay. I guess. Is it mono red? Because he has those cool Is It sleeves. Okay, it's mono red. And this is like some weird maybe. Kind of, I don't know. Maybe that's not true. Okay, if we shock this in, do we actually do anything? No. To activate the Surtland Frostpire, okay, two blue, so 5 mana and tapping and sacking it to sweep the board. Oh, we're in some trouble. I think we're gonna... We'll Fable Passage to get the other planes so we can Skyclave the Chain Whirler if we need to. As I imagine will be the case. Right now we'll just play a giant here and just try and present a blocker. I'm not gonna... If he attacks with anything, I think I block the Pyromancer. I know it's gonna suck, but it's, I think, the correct play here, right? Okay, that's good. I already have a play next turn, so I'm just gonna bolt our opponent here. But this was kind of what I meant, in that there's, I think that was the only, like... Oh, fuck me, that sucks a lot. Okay, so we might lose this game. Maybe. Still, we're gonna try. We'll probably put in, bring in a Heliod's Intervention for some life gain. Maybe a couple settles. He could very well kill this, and that's honestly okay. Like, yeah, it sucks. Okay, Flame of... for the Flame of Keld. That is an old school pick. I don't think we come back from... Well, maybe we... Hang on. Do we come back from this at all? Okay, so if we sweep the Illusions Alive and we're Dungeon Rings there, if we play here and then we squash the Soul Scar Mage, this is the only out I see to maybe win. Oh no, we're dead because he has... Right. He's got it. Because then one thing gets through and then he sacks a Ruin. Okay, that's fine. So maybe we bring in a Heliod, a couple Settles, and maybe a couple Ether Gust. We'll go ahead and go down a couple Invasion of the Giants and a couple Glimpse of the Cosmoses here. Let me see. We gotta cut one more card. Honestly, we could probably cut both of these. If we were to cut both of them, what do we put in their place? One card in turn. Maybe a Volcanic Fallout. This is the first mono red deck I have seen in a hot minute. So regardless of what happens here, I'm just happy to see a varied deck. Okay, we got to be really smart about this. Okay, so we have a good opener. We have a Skyclave for something big. So we'll probably Gate, then Triome, something, and then we'll Skyclave whatever a big thing is. Oh boy, we might literally just get run over. But I'm okay with this. Sometimes it's gotta happen. Does he have a 1-drop? He does. A Lava Runner. Okay, we have a Sweeper. That is a thing. That's not good. Well, it's not the worst. Okay. Okay, what do we do here? I think I literally just... Okay, we'll get rid of the Pyromancer just to pick a target. So now we can block the Gitu at least. He would have to play 2 instants or sorcery spells this turn to get it to where it trades. Which, granted, he can totally do. Kind of like that. Okay, so then we'll play a red source. We'll play a Tectonic Giant. Hopefully he commits to the board just a little bit more, so this Battle of Frost and Fire will wreck his day. I'm hoping he does. Or maybe he, like, equips something with, like, an Embercleave. We will block the biggest thing on the board. Does he play anything else into this board? Not gonna lie, it would suck, but yeah, it's gonna happen no matter what goes down. So your next turn, so that would just be wasting the cards. We'll go ahead and bolt. Still giving you priority for something. Oh, that's not good. I think... Oh, man. This is such... Let it be known this might be what loses me the game. Okay. He hit for 2-4. Second, I go to 6, I go to 5. But if I counter whatever the hell he plays next turn, I think we're in a better... Well... Okay. Oh, boy. Okay, I gotta trust in myself to do this. But boy, am I not totally about this. I'm hoping he draws something big so that I can counter it. Yeah, I kind of expected that game. You did not brick 2 cards. Like that. I'll counter that all day long. Does he play a land? Did he hit a land or something else? Maybe he'll commit something big to the board. A Soul Scar Mage will do it. Okay, so I gotta be really, really careful here to do this right. Blue, black, and white. So I think... Oh my god! Okay, this is what we needed. Okay, so we gotta be very careful here. We'll just do the battle first. This way, for the most part, he wastes his last chapter on that saga. I think we'll get a blue source. We have one more real big sweeper here that we can just kind of sit on. Oh, that sucks a lot. Okay. Scrying 3. What are we going to draw here? I don't need any either of these. So then we'll just play a mountain. I think we'll play a tectonic giant and pray to the heavens above that nothing crazy happens here. I think we've almost turned the corner. Okay, that's a key 2. That's a thing you can do. And another key 2. Alright. Now, lands don't have colors. Lands are considered colorless for things like Flame of the Kelds, so I don't need to worry about that killing me. So we'll go ahead and cast our second Battle of Frost and Fire. So we'll kill his board. We'll draw cards. I think we honestly just chuck the Invasion of the Giants. Oh my god! We got it. Hi, baby girl. I apologize, but Dad's legs are killing him sitting like that for too long. Okay, so I stand by our sideboarding decision. We'll see if this lasts a long time, or good enough here. Pardon one moment while I make sure everything's still working. Okay, everything appears to be in order for our final game of the video. Credit to Spellslinger. This dude is playing a very good red deck. Solid, no nonsense, just a good rock solid. I'm happy that aggro still does pop up every once in a while as an aggro player myself. Isn't that right, Smokey Baby? Oh, I have a scritch dead. I has to scritch dead. There we go. Hold on, this... I had to clean up your sister's hairball. I just don't want to do another one. Okay. Things to do. I guess, what do we draw? So we'll play the gates first. See what we draw next turn, and then we'll, like, base our game plan around that. Oh, that's good. That's lovely. God, Burning Tree is a really good card. Hi, honey. I think we're gonna just play a Mountain, and then we'll stomp something on combat here. Maybe if he plays a land and attacks, I believe he has enough to play an Embercleave. Go ahead and get rid of the technically biggest thing on the board. which is the Burning Tree. See, I would love to draw a blue source next turn. That would be the best. Ah, crap. Actually, if I drew a white source, that'd be kicking ass. That's not a white source game. You gotta be kidding me if I have to take a turn off here. Yeah, I have to take a turn off to develop a second white source for the Skyclave. Oh boy, this is... it might not go well. I might have made a mistake in having not just played the Skyclave earlier. Okay, you're up to 3. It's a thing. It's a Burning Tree into something. Honestly, that's kind of massive. Okay, so what's the play here? I don't think... I actually think it's correct to Skyclave the Flame of Keld here. It prevents a buttload of damage. Let it be known this might be the wrong decision or the wrong thing to do. If he plays a removal spell, we're in some real goddamn trouble. I literally think we just lost. That's a shitty way to go. Threatening 2, 4, 6, 8 next turn. 8, I gain 2, go 4, go 1. I think if he literally hits a land, I die, but I think this is the only thing I can choose to do. I guess we can do it at instant speed and pray, but I literally think we're dead. That is fucking brutal. Target player gains twice X life. This is probably not going to be enough. Which is a terrible goddamn way to die. If he literally hits a land drop, he can just sack the ruin. I mean, that's technically not hitting a land drop. Cool, we're dead. GG. Well, that was a unfortunate way, but sometimes you just don't hit the things you need. Good game to our opponent, however. They played entirely admirably, played a cool deck. Nothing but respect as a red player. But that will be the end of our video today. I hope my little deck tech and the ensuing gameplay videos kind of showed roughly what the deck can do and kind of how it's supposed to function. Maybe you'll want to try it yourself. So we'll, like always, we'll end on the same screen here in case you want to try this deck out. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you like me, subscribe for more content. And if you have any sort of personal inputs on what you would put in or how you would particularly construct a deck, or if you say agree or disagree with certain plays I made, seeing how control is, I don't play a whole lot of control matchups unless it's something fun like this, so I always accept some constructive criticism. With that, have a great day, and I'll see you soon with the next video. Bye bye.